What's up, everybody? Welcome to the All Things Gratitude podcast. After a week off, I needed a little lay back there for a little minute. So thanks for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Our next guest is a mom of two little girls that are her world. She has met with a lot of trials and tribulations in her life, especially being hit by a drunk driver 16 and a half years ago. And we'll get in that a little bit into the show. You know, she's just kind. She shows gratitude. She just loves to spread love. And that's perfect for this show, for the All Things Gratitude podcast. She has a message for the world called Sparkle. That's an acronym for spread positivity, abundance, respect, kindness, and love everywhere. Yeah, that's great. Everybody, please welcome to the All Things Gratitude podcast, Nicole Crowley. I said it right, too.
Yes, you did. Hello.
Look at that.
I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so excited. Happy Saturday.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for being on. You know, for some people in the country, this is early. Yes. So everybody who's going to start tuning in and everything, I appreciate it. I already see people tuning in. I can see the views. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here early Saturday morning. First of all, Nicole, where are you located and how's the weather? Because I know that's a big thing. I am in
Chicago, Illinois.
Hello.
I think I have about 3 feet of snow outside of my door.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but obviously I keep the heat on high in here because I'm always in short sleeves.
So I'm in Queen Creek, Arizona. It's going to be 80 degrees today. So so we are definitely in our springtime here. So we're in the 70s and 80s. So, I mean, everybody's getting hit. Everybody's putting pictures of snow, and I'm just posting pictures in my backyard. Hey,
I hate the cold. I've lived all over the world. I was born in Switzerland. I've lived in California, Minnesota, Illinois.
Awesome,
I've had all of it.
Is that... Now, I'll get into that a little bit. Is that because you had a parent in the military, or guys were just all over the place?
Yeah, my father was a partner with a computer company, and he was responsible for opening the locations overseas.
Oh, awesome.
So that's what brought my parents to Switzerland, and then they had me. And then when I was 10 years old, I was brought to America because my mother actually wanted me to have more opportunities as a woman.
Oh, that's awesome. Good stuff right there. Good stuff. So, hey, first of all, let's tell everybody about you if they don't know who you are. Who is Nicole and what does she do? And what is maybe your goals for life or your aspirations?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I have some huge goals, guys.
That's awesome.
All right, so a little bit about me. I have had a lot of different trials and tribulations, like Nick was saying. But the main thing is I got hit by a drunk driver 16 and a half years ago. And I really don't like that to define who I am, but it was a defining moment for me just because it brought me to recognizing where I was in my life and recognizing that I needed to choose gratitude, positivity, law of attraction. Because before my car accident, I had a full-time job. I was modeling on the weekends. I was in the scene. I had a boyfriend, broke up with me as soon as I got in the accident, by the way. Just ridiculous. You find out who are your real friends. Just all these things. And I literally was keeping myself alive with 5-hour energy shots. I was that girl. And I did not stop to smell the roses. And I got hit by the drunk driver and I had to leave my condo downtown Chicago. I moved home with my mom. I had 7 tears in my rhomboid muscle, 2 tears in my lower lat, 3 fractured ribs, permanent nerve damage to my back, cervical spine strain, and it triggered a heart condition in my DNA. It was really, really extreme. And I actually had 5 doctors give up on me pretty much because they were treating me like a number and not a person. And they were like, here's the number for disability. Everything they kept doing was making my pain worse. And my pain, and I don't want to keep focusing on this, so I'm going to move forward from this, but my pain was so bad that I could not sleep until my body was too exhausted to just collapse. The breathing hurt. I would cry when I breathed. I mean, it was just awful. And it was like that for 3 years. I mean, it did not even go down 5% for 3 years. But 6 months after the accident, I just woke up one morning and I was like, no, this is not my life anymore. No, I am not going to let that woman that hit me have any more control over my life right now than she did 6 months ago. And I intuitively, something just told me to buy the book, The Secret. I just bought it. I started reading it. And from that moment on, even though my body was fighting against me every single moment, my mind never, ever accepted and never believed that this was my life. I've been a professional dancer since I was 12. Dance was my career. And here's the thing too, is I got so involved in modeling that I wasn't focusing my attention on my dance career. And so I almost feel like the universe was like, well, you have this amazing talent, but you're not using it. So I'm just going to take that away from you. and, like all this stuff. Like we do have incredible talents that we're given. And if we don't embrace it and take advantage of it and really develop it, things like that sometimes happen as like a message to you from the universe. So from that point forward, I did not give up. And once I started making that decision, then I found the doctor that treated me like a person instead of a number. And he took the time to realize that I had permanent nerve damage. And that's why everything that everybody else was doing was hurting me, because anytime they even like touched my skin, I would scream out in pain. So they couldn't comprehend that. So he actually stayed up all night one night and was studying. He called me the next morning and he was like, I really think you have nerve damage. He's like, I want to put you on a pill. And if there's any difference at all, then we know we're on the right track. And we did that. I was on a pill for a couple months and we saw like a little bit of a difference, but I'm very against, I don't like pills for me. Mm-hmm. So he knew that. So he was like, we're just doing this to diagnose you. Like, I know you don't like this. So I'm like, okay. So once we knew that, then we had the right path to go on. And that seed of gratitude, positivity, and law of attraction and believing in myself, like I was so stubborn. I would walk a block and then I'd have to call my mom on the cell and she'd have to carry me home. Like I was that stubborn. I was like, I am getting better. I'm getting back to Chicago. I'm getting back to my modeling career. I'm getting back to, well, I thought my boyfriend. Yeah, right. But, I was like, I want my life back. And I went back to college. I did human nutrition and I was going to focus on nutrition therapy. I was going to work with malnourished patients, especially malnourished cancer patients was my main focus. And it's incredible that now fast forwarding 16 years, I'm kind of doing that in a different way. So when the world started going into this darkness that we've been in, I realized I kind of like just woke up and I was like, I have a story to share because I've been in that darkness and I found the light within me to get me out. And so I started doing Facebook Lives and I had like 500, 600 people following me. And the craziest thing is like the people who I thought were like the strongest, they had everything together in their life, they were reaching out to me. They were like, Nicole, I couldn't even get out of bed in the morning till I heard you talk. And then I realized, I'm like, I really have something to share. Like this can really help people. So then I decided, I was like, I'm here to help people. And I knew after my car accident, I knew the fact that I survived that because I had a 40-foot light pole come crashing at me and miss me by 5 inches on my right side. Like I knew that there was something that I'm meant for. So like in that moment, it finally like came to me and I'm like, that's why I was saved. That's why I'm here to help people. That's my mission. Like I have to stop this other stuff. Like I was selling like makeup. I was doing all this other stuff. I mean, I've always been a caring person and I've always been the friend that everybody comes to with stuff, but like, I need to do this in a huge way and make a big impact. So I got my life coaching certification and
awesome.
for me, it wasn't for me. I was like, there's something bigger for me. It's just that's not it. So then I started doing the motivational speaking part and being on podcasts and doing that kind of thing. And I love it. But still, it just wasn't what I meant for. And then I embraced like the spiritual side of myself. I started going on the spiritual journey. I started working with Reiki healers. I started doing Akashic records. I started working with crystals and things. And then I actually reached out to a shaman friend of mine in California. And it was the craziest thing because I was so attracted to her energy, but I was too nervous. I didn't believe in myself enough to actually like book her or invest in myself to do that. So then I did a post about how I had made and donated over 550 masks. I did over 750 in total. And it wasn't to brag about me. I was trying to encourage others to do it. Mm-hmm. And she commented on it and she was like, hey, I want to thank you for your selflessness. I'd like to give you a complimentary one-on-one. Her one-on-ones are like $500 to $1,000. So I was like, oh, but I was in such a state of, I didn't even realize it. I was in such a state of anxiety about the world. I'm an empath. I take in emotion. So, I mean, I would be sewing and making masks till 2, 3 in the morning. When my kids were napping, I was making masks. Like I was obsessed. So it took about a month. And then I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I'm the mask girl. Like, I would love to take you up on that one-on-one. And she was like, great. Reach out to me next Wednesday. I'm looking for a business partner. Let's chat next week. And I was like, wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. And then that night she did a Facebook Live and it was about the Healy. And this is the Healy. It's right here. And she held it up and she was like, this will help raise your spiritual level. And I was like, done, Sign me up. I don't even care how much it costs. You've got your new business partner. Stop looking. Like, meant to be. I actually cried when I researched this because she told me that it was a device that would help with spirituality. However, I've always been in love with quantum physics. I've always been in love with science. I've always been in love with the possibility of the universe. And I did my own research. I actually studied for 6 hours that night because that's the person I am. And I discovered it's a quantum frequency energy wellness device that does so much more. It actually balances and strengthens your bioenergetic field. It will help your self-healing capability. It will bring you to yourself, to your highest self. It has 144,000 frequencies and over 120 different programs and so much more. So it's like, I got the Healy and I started using it, and I am a different person now because of the Healy. Like, I've had chronic migraines my entire life on top of everything from the car accident. And I've been migraine free for 8 months now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
good
it's
stuff.
so interesting because people are like, you're this whole new person. Like, now I'm spiritually evolved. I'm really deep in the spiritual world now.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a blessing, and I'm so in touch with my highest self. But it's interesting because people are like, wow, you've really changed. And I'm like, actually, I haven't changed at all. I'm back to the person I was before the car accident. I'm back to the person I was before these chronic migraines, like in high school. Like, I didn't watch TV. I studied all the time. I was like all about it. And now I'm back to that. And I'm back to enhancing myself and enhancing others through it. And people are just like, wow, you've changed. And I'm like, no, I'm back to who I actually am.
So really quick, if anybody's interested, the link's in the comments below on LinkedIn. So there it is. I got that link to your site there. That's awesome. You know, it's sometimes in life, you have to go through hard and dark times and even hit your just your rock bottom to understand what your true path in this world is.
Yes.
I haven't been in no situation like you, but I've been in hard times for me. And just, you know, it's funny. Like you say, one day you just wake up and everything clicks.
Yes.
Everything makes sense. And it's really weird. You know, it is, because like I always tell everybody, I really believe in karma. I really believe in we're meant to be here for a reason. We're put on this earth for a reason. And when you're in the middle of hard times, you're supposed to go through those for a reason. You may not understand it now, tomorrow, the day after, next month, but eventually you'll figure it out and why, and everything will make sense.
Yes.
And when you're on that path, you're actually helping people. You don't realize it, but you are.
That's the thing. That's the thing is when you are focusing on raising your consciousness, raising your frequency, coming to self, like realizing your highest self, you are doing more for the world and just working on you than going out externally and trying to save the world. Like, your energy, your frequency, your vibration actually will go to the people who you love and care about, and it will go to the planet. It's just the most beautiful thing.
I think, you know, I feel like part of my calling is my LinkedIn network, is because I always say I connect with everybody, and some people are like, what? And I go, because you never know whose life you can change, or you never know who can come in your life and change your life.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll get your trolls on there and everything, and you get them out. You know, we talked about this a little bit beforehand in the green room, but you know, it's just like I have a connection named Jeffrey, you know, down in Africa, and he asked me, he goes, you know what, we have some family members who were adopted in Arizona. Here's their names. Can you look them up? And I'm like, and this just came out of the blue. It's just because we've been a connection, you know. And I'm like, I'll try to figure out who they are. I mean, it's going to be hard to, but I'll look for that, you know. And it was just like, because he just wants to reconnect with family members. He just wants to know they're okay, you know. And that's awesome. And it's like, if I did what a lot of people said, only connect with like-minded people, I would have never came across them, and I would never have the possibility of finding those people for them.
That's
you know, so
that's the thing, is every single person is so important. Every single person is this beautiful piece of the puzzle that this world needs. Every single person, whether they've recognized it or not, has magic inside them. They have a spark.
You know, so, thing, spark. It comes back to that. Sparkle, spark. I love it. I mean, I love that, because I was looking it up when you sent me the bio. I was like, this is interesting, you know, because everybody has something different they do. And, you know, I do a lot of podcasts, and I'm fortunate enough to be on quite a few too. And just learning about the people who are interviewing me, or the people I'm interviewing, like you comment on my post, I've seen you around LinkedIn, but we've really never talked like this over the phone.
Right.
So now learning another aspect of somebody, I know how grateful you are in post. I see the gratitude you put in, I see how the positive is, which is great. That's what makes it great for this podcast. But then doing a deeper dive, never know you got hit by a drunk driver, never know how long it took to get back, didn't know about the issues you had with your doctors, and then you put in, and you said, and this is what I do when I mentor people and everything, to become into leadership roles, is you said it exactly. I always tell them, don't treat people like numbers, treat them like humans.
Yes.
Because once you do that, it's amazing how your teams change. It is absolutely, and it's something very simple. Just ask, how's your kids' soccer games? How's your kids' basketball games? You don't even have to remember their kids' names. You just have to know what they do. Giving them a high five or a fist pump every day, or patting them on the back, telling them good job, or thanks for coming in today. That's my famous line. Thanks for coming in today. We really appreciate it. And they're like, you're full of.
So I always say, I appreciate you.
And half of them like, you're full of crap, but guess what? They're smiling. So that means you're getting through to them, and you join that, it's making a situation positive, a quick story. I went into a company once. I went in to help rebuild a department and culture and everything. And my first day, I'm not kidding you, my first day, they handed me a paper, said, you need to fire that guy. I was like, this is my first day, man. I don't even know who he is. I'm like, who is this person? I don't even know who he is. So I'm like, listen, this was a problem before I got here. I go, what I would suggest is put him on a PIP for 90 days and let me just figure him out. Let me work with him. Let me see what I can do. 90 days later.
I was that mean person too at a company, and I can't believe I ever did it. I was the person at a mortgage company that shut down the fraudulent loans. So, you went to the Christmas parties and nobody would talk to me because it's like, she shut down my loan. She shut down my loan.
Well, they're fraudulent. I know, but people think you're taking money from them. That was their mindset. That's what they're
focusing on instead of this is wrong. Exactly.
Absolutely. So, I worked with him, and then I took him on a road trip to another property we went to, and he's like, why are you taking me? I go, because you need it. And he just looked at me like, what? This guy never talked to anybody. He was always just, So I sat down, got in the office and talked to him, got him close, and realized that he was going through a divorce. So he started drinking a lot. His kids were being taken away from him. So he was just mentally, he was gone. So I figured it out. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have you work on your own. I'm not going to have you work around other people. I'm going to give you jobs that you just do by yourself. Come into my office and everything. 90 days later, Nicole, this guy was eating lunch with everybody. He was smiling, laughing. Everybody's like, what did you do to him? What did you do to him? I go, I treated him like a human. That's it. I go, that's all he wanted. That's all he wanted. Just as a mentor or a leader, you have to do that stuff. You have to. And people don't realize that. Leaders still haven't figured that out.
No, not at all. I'm
Nicole,
actually secret. So we haven't officially launched it yet, but so I'm with Healy World, obviously with the Healy, and I have an expansive international team, and I'm growing it and growing it and growing it. But I have joined forces with one of my other Healy sisters, and we are going to be creating a platform to do exactly that. Support people that are coming in to keep the morale high, because this is about raising the consciousness of the planet. My main goal with Healy is to be so abundant that I am donating Healys to women's abuse shelters, homeless shelters, VA centers, orphanages, whoever needs it in this world. That's my main goal, is to get to that level where I am literally donating thousands of Healys to the world. So that's awesome. Everybody that I bring in, if they're willing to put the energy and the time in, I'm there to help them, and I want to help them, raise. But it's interesting with what you said, because I had a friend in college that everybody thought she was so stuck up. She was like drop dead gorgeous, and she never talked to anybody. And I just gravitated towards her, and I started talking to her, and she was just insanely shy. And nobody ever gave her that opportunity. And it turned out she was actually royalty in India, and had been so in a bubble and so protected. She'd never seen a movie. She never, like, all she ever did was study, get straight A's. She didn't have a life. She wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend. I actually snuck her out. Like, I mean, she's in America, so she was away from her family. But I like pretended that she was studying with me, and we went to the movies. Yeah. Like, you know, I mean, I taught her American culture, and now she's married to an American guy, madly in love, like has an amazing life. And she's like, it's because you gave me the chance. You gave me the opportunity to show me that there was something else. But people weren't like even willing to say hi to her because they assumed that she was stuck up. And that's what people do about me too. They assume that I have this perfect life just from whatever with like modeling and stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, if you guys knew, like, I'm in chronic pain. I'm fainting all the time because of my heart condition. Like, stop judging the book by the cover. Seriously.
Absolutely. Your story kind of reminds me of the movie Coming to America with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, because they came over here and they were in such a bubble where they came from. They're like,
yes.
Well, I think it was McDougal's, but it's supposed to be McDonald's. It's like, what is this? And, you know, trying to figure out the way, because, you know, some people, like you say, like that, even people who come from a third world country, this is so different here. This is like a total, this is a total one.
Yeah, I know. I mean, she has been through hell and back, and she is the most humble, the most giving person. She will give you the shirt off her back, even when she can't afford a shirt. She is the most amazing soul. And we met in a movie theater because I liked her earrings. Like, all of my best friends, it's like the weirdest little like things. Like, I'm just out there. I just want to connect with everybody because I recognize what's in them.
You know, we and I use this story a lot with people. My family and I, we took a trip to Mazatlan years ago, and they had this little island off the side called Stone Island where you can go and visit. You want to talk about beyond third world. I mean, no doors, no windows on the houses, dirt floors. They only get like 300 gallons of water a month.
Oh my God.
And this little kid, he was like 13 years old. He was the one taking us on the tour around the place. And I looked at my wife and I said, every kid in America needs to come here and see this and realize how good they have it. Even though if you're in a bad situation, you got a lot better than these people, and just be grateful. Yeah. I mean, I hear kids complaining about, I don't have the right car, I don't have the right cell phone, I don't have the right this. I'm like, go take everything from you, and then you'll realize, you know, it's unfortunate. And I say this and I mean this because I'm on it, but a lot of it's social media. I hate to say it because kids are glued to their phone. I say the smartphone is the greatest invention ever, but the worst. When I worked in manufacturing, we can walk up to $1 million machine, we can Google and YouTube a video and fix it. That was great. It was at the palm of our hands.
Right.
But then then you go around, it's 80 degrees outside here in Arizona. It's going to be hard to find a kid outside.
Right.
Because they're stuck on their phones.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, well, maybe here there's more people are more outdoors here, but like where I used to live in Washington, we used to drive around really nice days. There you couldn't find a kid. And I'm like, when I was a kid, man, I was begging my parents to go outside. I didn't want to come back in the house. You know, it was playing football and basketball with the friends down the street. You know, it was just riding our bikes around the neighborhood. You know, it was outdoor. You know,
and that's the thing. Like, being outdoors is actually, it's the best thing for your body. We need the vitamin D. We need the symbiotic relationship with the plants around us. I mean, I'll go into quantum entanglement a little bit. Like, we are all energetically connected. They've proven that when you have a cell and you add stimuli to that cell and create like some kind of energy to split that cell, and then you add stimuli to cell A, cell B will respond at the exact same time, at the exact same moment, whether it's right next door, across the room, or across the world. So when you think of like however creation started, if you think of Big Bang or whatever it is, we started from one. So we are all energetically entangled in some way. So when we go outside and we experience nature, we are like almost like it's a remembrance of different cells that were a part of us that we're being able to connect to. It's just like I told you, I'm addicted to quantum physics. I could talk about it for 10 hours. So I'm not going to go there. But I wanted to touch on what you said with like the little children where you were visiting. I have a hope, and I feel like we're getting there. I feel like we're going to move into unity consciousness. A lot of us are already doing it. A lot of us are realizing that we should not harm one another. We should not do anything because we are connected. When we harm anybody, we're harming ourselves. And I'm talking worldwide, you guys. I'm talking everybody is energetically connected. And the universe is actually supporting us on this mission because right now we're in the age of Aquarius. So we were in a 240-year cycle of material, matter, money, And now we're in a 240-year cycle of spirituality, unity, togetherness, and technological advancement. Look what's happening with technology right now. Like, this is happening, and we're being universally supported energetically to do this, to get into a state of unity consciousness where we literally don't see a difference between anybody. We are all one. And I can't wait till we get there.
That's beyond me. I'm not gonna lie. No, it's all good. But that's why I said, that's what I like about this, because I can learn things and say, you know what, I'm gonna go check on this really quick, after the show, just because everything interests me. Doesn't mean it's what I'm gonna do or hardcore study, but I look into things because here's the thing. I like to be that person that knows a little about a lot. Because that means I'm going to be more well-rounded in the long run. Now, there's some things I know a lot about because that's what I do for a living. That's my trait. That's this. Right. But if I can expand on that, it makes it more fun doing live shows like this. It's you see my LinkedIn page, it's all about just having fun and spreading positivity and just getting people involved. I mean, I don't have a mission. Yes. Do I make some money off LinkedIn at times? Am I involved with other people in the consulting companies? Yes, but I bet you a lot of people don't know that because I don't promote that. I promote who I am. I promote the personal brand. I promote other people.
Right.
And then people will come back to us and say, you've been consistent for this long. How do you do this? And that's where the business starts then. And I think that's what a lot of people should do. And that's kind of like what you're doing. It's just like you're promoting this positivity and everything. And then somebody's going to message you, Nicole, you're so positive. Why? And that's where the conversation starts.
So here's the thing. I also want to say I am not unicorn and rainbows, guys.
Yeah.
When I talk about positivity and gratitude, I'm also very real. And I want you to be real too, because every emotion needs to be felt. Every emotion needs to be respected, because when we push down emotions and we don't face them, when we ignore trauma and we try to just move forward and don't face it, that manifests in our body as pain and disease. It creates an imbalance that the Healy is actually focusing on. It creates an imbalance that when you raise your consciousness, it starts going into balance. So I always say, like, if you're sad, what I do is if I'm sad about something, I'm like, okay, so what is this teaching me? What is this showing me? Because anything that we experience externally is a reflection of what's in us. So we have to kind of look at that. But then what I actually do is I embrace it fully. I'll force myself to watch a sad movie, or I'll force myself to listen to a sad song, and I'll fall it out, and then I will choose gratitude, and then I will choose positivity. And here's the thing. I know people are like, how can you be grateful right now? Like, look at what's going on. If you can see, you can be grateful. If you can speak, you can be grateful. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, I don't open my eyes. Before I even open my eyes, I say, I'm so grateful to see. And then I open my eyes. And then I say, I'm so grateful to speak. And then I talk. And then when my feet touch the floor, I'm not kidding, every single morning, it's the most incredible way to start the day. When my feet touch the floor, I'm so grateful to walk. And especially with my background, like with the car accident and stuff, like I'll cry. Like, so it's just, there is always something to be grateful for. If you look up and you see the sky, there's something to be grateful for. And operating in a state of gratitude raises your consciousness. And they've proven that the human body operates best between 62 and 72 megahertz. And when you drop down to 58, your body's susceptible to colds and flus. And when you drop down to 40, your body's susceptible to a lot more serious things going on. So raising our consciousness is so important, because so when we're sad, when we're fearful, when we're angry, when we experience hate, that's like 0.2 to like 0.7 megahertz. We're operating on a very low frequency. Yeah. But when you are grateful, when you are happy, when you are joyful, you're operating at 500 megahertz. And you're at a whole different level. And when you're at that energy level, you actually attract people to you and situations and opportunities that operate on the same frequency. It's all about frequency.
I agree 1000%, because of the fact my wife and I talk about this all the time. I'm very fortunate. I have a very, very good job. We live a nice life. I have a great network. I have people who always want to reach out and help. But guess what? We know it can all be gone tomorrow. We know that. So, it's not about bragging. It's not about this. It's about just enjoying life, and helping people and being with people. I mean, a big reason we moved down to Arizona was to help my parents. They're getting older in life. We wanted to be there and help them. And I have family here, and I'm not going to lie, 340 days a year of sun is not bad either. Right, but and it's a lot cheaper to live here too. But I mean, it's just, there's so many factors that go into it, and even through everything that's going on, we're still over there almost every day helping them, doing something for them, having family dinners, it was just like I always say, what, my parents took care of me for 18 years and they still do to a point now. Now it's my turn to take care of them, because I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for them. Now, some people, that might not be their parents. That might be a brother. That might be, or some type of sibling. It might be a cousin. It might be a grandparents. Everybody's situation's different that they came across. Or it could be the neighbor who took care of them all the time. Whatever it is, there's always somebody out there who was there for your best interest. So remember that and bring it back later in life.
Yes, and this is also what I say, like we're always taught to be so nice and kind, and that's a wonderful thing, and I do encourage that. But the thing is, we're taught to be kind, or we're taught to be nice, and like to be meek and humble, to like have people walk all over us, and that's not the thing. Like, we should be kind from our heart, and we should be giving it from a state of overflow. That's the difference. Is I always speak about giving from a state of overflow, because when you have unconditional love for yourself, you're filling yourself with love. You're filling yourself with getting in touch with your highest self, however you want to do it. Then you're able to help people more, because you're not depleting yourself. If you're giving from a state where you are constantly just trying to survive and you're giving, then you're going to be depleted, and eventually you're not going to be able to give anymore.
The biggest thing I truly believe in is you have to truly love yourself before you can give love to somebody else.
Yes.
You have to fully know what you're about before you can give that.
Yes.
So many people in this world don't do that. They think they have to give, or do. But you know what? You have to take care of yourself first. You really do, to give that full energy out.
And this is one thing that I do. It's called my kick-ass journal. Sorry, I said that word.
Oh, no. I've had a lot worse said on this, so trust me.
Good. Okay, so this is the thing. Like, when we're in the moment, like if we've been working with a client and they're like, oh my gosh, you just changed my life. Like, you feel great in that moment, right?
Yeah.
But then like a week later, you'll wake up and you're having like a bad day or whatever it is, or you're just taking in like the energy of everybody, and you're just not there. That's why I create this journal. Like, when you're in the moment and you have that amazing thing, you write it down. You write down in that moment. Like, it doesn't even have to be a journal. It could just be a piece of paper. Write it down. Like, I just changed this person's life and this is how I did it. Or I just had the best lunch visit with my friend and I feel elated and I'm so happy and I'm so grateful. Whatever it is where you are operating on like, you're just like all about yourself, you write it down, so that in those moments when you're having a dark day, when you just wake up and you're sad or it's the wrong side of the bed, you read that and you're like, okay, I'm kick ass. Yep. Like, let's do this.
We're on the same level on a lot of things. It's like when I'm doing my mentoring and coaching people, leaders, my big thing is stop worrying about what your job description is. That's what they paid you to do. What are you doing beyond your job description? Some people like, it's my job description. That's what I'm there to do. That's what they pay me. Fine. Then if that's your mentality, then there's no reason for us to talk anymore, because why are you paying me then? Why are you doing this? Because we go beyond that. So what I try to do is look into your team. You should train everybody in your team to take your position. Doesn't mean they're going to, but train them to do that. Yeah. Make them better people. Make it to where if they leave, it's okay, because it's not, who gives you the right to stop somebody from bettering their career?
Right.
So help them. Because we're all in our positions because somebody helped us. Yes. So you need to give that back. And Nicole, I'll tell you one thing. When everything changed for me about this was, I hired somebody, a while back. She didn't have a job. She was a bartender because she just had a child. She was kind of just doing that. She had a long gap, and she came in. She was nervous. I'm like, what do you need to do? I go, here's some water. She smokes. I'm like, do you need to go out and smoke? Do you need to what do you need to do? Calm down. Go do that. Let's start all over. And she just looked at me and I'm like, come back in. Came back in. I'm like, okay, I like your enthusiasm now. I like your drive. You came recommended. So I got to start you at this level. We'll see where it goes. She ended up being my best employee by far. And she was doing stuff that it took people 6-7 years of college training. She got it within a year. She just went hardcore. She came into my office. She came into my office one day. She sat down and she started crying. I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, because of you, I'm able to buy a house for my family. I was like, life change right there. I'm like, boom. That's but right there, obviously the joy and the pride, you know, goes into that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's when I realized I made it to the next step of a leader.
Yes.
It wasn't about work. It was I just helped somebody besides change their career, change their life.
Oh yeah.
And from that point on, it's been like I'm on a mission to help people with their lives. At work is at work. We can make them better people there. For me, that's easy. My personality helps builds teams and the culture. That's not a problem. But what can I do beyond that? I'm on that mission now. It's just like,
beautiful.
Let's get you to the next level. Let's get you to this point. If you want to leave because we can't promote you into a certain position or we can't afford that pay or whatever, let me know. If you're talking to a recruiter or whatever, and I'll give you a recommendation, I'll write you a letter because it's not my job to hold somebody back. It's not my job to make them go forward and progress. And my mentor, she might be watching, Pam Tyler, did that to me. And she's like, I can't hold you back. And she made sure I got this job that they came after me for. And it was amazing. And then when I went to watch her speak at a convention, she actually used that story, and that was the first time I ever heard it. And she said, you know, it's not my job to hold him back, move. And she's like, he's sitting right there. And I was like, whoa. You know,
awesome.
I didn't know she felt that way. You know, so that actually meant more her saying that at that speech than it did her saying it to me one-on-one. Because it was putting it out, like you would say, to the world. It wasn't.
That's amazing. See,
well,
that's
just because
how you feel about Pam and about how you worked with your employee. That's how I feel about Healy, honestly. When I joined Healy, I saw a world where people aren't competing with each other. I saw a world where like all these brilliant people are focusing on raising humanity and raising the consciousness of the planet. Like we're talking energy healers, we're talking business moguls, we're talking CEOs, we're talking everybody within this frame. But like our specific group, there's 3,000 people on our group, and not mine in particular, but the one that I'm under, because it's a social selling platform. But it gave me hope for humanity. I was like, I can't believe that this exists. Yeah. And it led to like so many, like my spiritual journey, it was just a search. And it led to me, I'm actually getting certified as an emotional resonance clearing practitioner now. So, I mean, I'm going to be clearing and conditioning programming. And like, I'm going to be bringing people to like their inner position. It's just incredible. It encompasses the 5 element theory. So Taoist theory, it's like that you have all these different spirits in you. So fire, earth, water, metal, and oh gosh, I don't remember the last wood. And depending on what constitution you have, there are different pathological attachments to different organs and different emotions. So it's like your body sends you smoke signals. So if you have migraines, that could actually be like liver stagnation or whatever it is. And then once I diagnose what it is, then I can there's acupressure, meridian clearing. And then I also learn like the naturopathic remedies. It's like the most brilliant modality. It's brand new. It's the most exciting thing. But like my belief in people and my belief in what I saw in the people who were just doing whatever they could for humanity, like brought me to this place that now I'm actually literally going to be able to change somebody's life.
Yeah, I love that because I always tell people it doesn't matter if you believe in God, Jesus, if you believe in the sun, the moon, the planets, if it's Buddha, if it's a cow, if it's a sheep, whatever it is, if you have a belief in something, that's where you need to start. That's the starting point. Yeah.
And I have a belief that I think my belief, I believe in the divine. Yeah. But I have a belief in each of us. Yeah. I believe that we are each creators. I have a belief in every single person. That's my belief. My belief is that I believe in you. I believe that everybody has magic.
That is awesome. So we have a question here.
Yeah.
From William. Why do you love physics?
Oh my gosh. Quantum physics, not regular physics. Yeah. Quantum physics. That's okay. Just with quantum physics, the possibilities are endless. It's just that when you realize that what you're thinking can actually heal your body, when you realize that you can draw abundance to yourself by operating with frequencies, when you realize that there's so much more to this little atom than just the neutron, the proton, and the electron. Like they've discovered that when the electron goes around the neutron, there's actually a moment where it's not there. It skips orbit. Where is it? What is the possibility? I am in love with quantum physics because the possibilities are endless. And that just makes my brain and my heart go, like, what is possible? What can we do here? We are so incredible. And like with my ERC practitioner stuff, like I'm realizing our bodies are miraculous. We don't recognize that. We just go through our day and we don't even realize that we have 70 trillion cells in our body working at just the right time to like keep us safe, keep us healthy. Like we need to realize what we have and take care of it better.
So quantum physics, wasn't that Sheldon Cooper on Big Bang Theory?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So were you figuring out all the formulas you'd put up on the whiteboards and everything before?
Okay, so it was after my accident.
Yeah. Okay.
I created this new friendship with my friend Charlotte, and she was into quantum physics, and she got me into it. And we watched documentaries every night. We talked about the world. We talked about these different possibilities of like these different planes and what's going on. And that's what really got me interested. And then I really should have probably like moved forward to getting like a quantum physics degree, but I did not. That's what Marcus Schmieke did, that invented the Healy. He did that for me. So then he just created the device I probably wanted to create someday.
Awesome.
But yeah.
So really quick here. Hey Howard, I got your package. I'll send you a DM. Thank you. So apparently I'm becoming an influencer. People are sending me stuff.
Woohoo! You should. You see the beauty in people.
Awesome.
Those people should be the people that are leading people.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I've been very blessed with this podcast because I've met so many great people. You know, I've learned so much new stuff, or just a little bit to open my mind a little more about something else. You know, it may not be
you want to hear
what
something
I do
really
or want to do. Yeah, okay, do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Blow our minds.
Okay, so every atom emits energy. So every atom has a frequency. So this is a frequency device. So I can actually imprint anything into my Healy and send it to you. I can record the frequency of a crystal. I can record the frequency of a photo, like the photo of the Dalai Lama. I can record the frequency of a child's laughter.
Oh, wow.
And I can send it to you in a session. So I sell the devices and then I do remote sessions as well. So that's mind-blowing, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it could blow your mind.
Yeah, I don't mean it like this, but it's almost like, it's like we talk about the smartphones. It's like to think it's almost like a text. You do something, boom, you can send it to somebody, then you can have a live session about it and talk about it. That's really cool. That is.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's incredible. And then I am so just focused on raising the consciousness of the planet. And the Healy is anywhere from 500 to 2,500. So depending on people's budget, maybe that might be a little extreme. But so I've actually created a paid subscription platform where people can access the frequencies for anywhere from $55 to $444 a month. So it depends on what they want and what access they want, because there's over 120 programs, analysis functionality, and so much more. There's even, this is kind of mind-blowing, there's an analysis functionality called the aura analysis, and the quantum sensor that is in the Healy. So the quantum sensor is based on the science of Nikola Tesla, and it's a series of two tiny Coriolis mirrors, and it creates a friction field that's so strong that it weakens the electromagnetic pull of the Earth so much so that it's barely even there. And that's what allows the Healy to communicate with your information field. And your information field is where your subconscious and your conscious communicate. I know I'm getting like, I promise it'll make a little bit of sense.
It's all good.
The quantum sensor that reads your information field and your specific bioenergetic signature, because everybody has a specific one, much like your thumbprint, just like snowflakes, there's no two alike. The quantum sensor will read your information field and it will determine your chakras. It will give you a graph of your chakras and tell you the percentage of your chakras. And then it will give you a report that gives you the emotional situations, all of the emotional situations in your life that are creating an imbalance in your chakras. And it gets into like childhood trauma. It gets into limiting beliefs. I mean, it is extreme. And then it gives you more data points on top of that. So it's just, that's why I say like quantum physics is fascinating, because there is no limit. What they're doing with quantum physics, I know somebody who works with NASA, and they're working with frequencies with REM cycle to get the astronauts back to a circadian rhythm of the Earth. Like, and then there's other people that are working with frequencies with cancer. They've worked with mice, and they've been able to, like, it was like 3 different subgroups, and one of the groups had cancer, the other group was developing symptoms, and the other group had nothing. And they've been able to actually determine cancer in the energy field before it got to the mouse. So there's just, Albert Einstein said that the future of medicine is frequency, and it is. It truly is. And that's why I'm just so fascinated by everything about it.
Mm-hmm. Might be there already, but then we won't get into the conspiracy theories why modern medicine isn't where it's at today. But I'm all about that's totally different. But about the only thing I know about science is we landed on Mars the other day, so I've been seeing pictures of that. That's pretty cool. So
that's amazing. And
actually, I work for
that opens up the mind, that opens up the possibility, that opens up hope. It does. Well, and that's, go ahead.
I was gonna say, he says open up the mind, and I say this to everybody. We got an argument on a podcast before. It was a lot of fun, but I'm like, if we don't think we're the only human intelligence or beings out there in the universe, oh man, there are people looking at us, laughing at us because we're so far behind them. But that's just my thought process. You know, I mean, it's like,
I agree.
With all the universes, and there's tons of them out there, people think we're the only ones. It's like, come on now. I mean, let's open our minds a little bit about that. There's somebody watching us all the time, just laughing or having a good time, or we're like their little puppets right now or something. You know, it's like they're betting on us. What are they gonna do now? But you know, but I feel that way. I really do. I do too. We won't get too deep into it, but
that's a rabbit hole that we're not going down today.
We had one podcast where we talked about how the aliens built the pyramids and everything, and man, it went down that rabbit hole. That was a lot of fun.
Are you subscribed to Gaia?
Yeah, that was what was that? I'm sorry.
Are you subscribed to Gaia?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna send you some programs on Gaia that you have to watch.
Okay. So, do you know my friend Erica Warfield?
Yes.
Yeah, her podcast was talking about with the aliens and everything. She's one of my good friends. We text a ton. I've had dinner with her and Peter
I only know her through LinkedIn, and I know her through the networking group.
Yeah, she is great. Like I said, I've had dinner with her and Peter in Dallas and had a great time there. She's just as great in person as she is on LinkedIn. I mean, it just her nickname's Warhammer. It's just awesome. It's just. But no, we talked about a lot of those conspiracies on hers, and to this date, that was the highest watched podcast I've had. It was unreal. It went off the charts.
So much of our media. I mean, I'm against a lot that's in the media, but so much of our media, like from childhood, helps you like believe in the possibility, and it's so exciting because right now, like the movie Soul came out, and in the movie Soul. This oneness that is in it. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's even good for adults to watch. This oneness that is on this different plane where souls are before they come down to earth. She turns into sacred geometry. She turns, and then she goes back to who she is. And this soul chooses their path before they come down here. They choose what lesson they want to learn. So it's just like seeing that in a Disney movie gives me so much hope because it's opening up the possibility. And that's even like way back in the 50s and 60s, like, or I don't remember when like circuses started. Circuses gave people like the possibility of fantasy. It helped them like realize, and when you start opening that, that's when people create. That's when people tap into their creator ability and creativity and like realize that we are incredible, that there's no limit.
You know, I always tell people with movies, like you just said, I go, it taps into people creating things and everything and their imaginations and everything. But I do feel you get ideas for a reason. Stuff has happened before. You know, it has happened in a past life. It has happened somewhere else. There's a I mean, I don't know. It's just, and
here's the thing. This is what's really cool.
I'm open-minded about that stuff.
Yeah. So, you know how when like you're home and I don't know, you have like an intuitive pull and you come up with this idea and then all of a sudden you realize like, oh, it's already been invented. It's like the moment you have an idea, it goes out into the quantum. And if you don't embrace it and you don't make it reality, it's there and it's going to be picked up by somebody.
Yep. Because somebody else is thinking it too. It's not only just you.
Yep. Yeah. And a lot of these ideas are actually coming from the quantum.
I agree.
To you. They're like, oh, we see, like, you can do this. Let's do this. Let's give you this. So, I mean, that's how actually my bracelets, my sparkle came. I just had a message one day. Like, it's interesting. My sparkle acronym, spread positivity, abundance, respect, kindness, love everywhere. actually started with my design line. I used to have a crochet design line. I've been sewing and embroidering and crocheting since I was 10. And I made really intricate pieces for weddings and for flower girls. And I made really sparkly winter hats. And it was all about sparkling with my stuff. And then I realized it was like sparkle. It was like my tagline was sparkle inside and out, starting with my hats. And then I came up with this acronym and I was like, and so it applied to my design line. But then as I went through the spiritual journey and as I started doing all this stuff, I was like, no, it's so much more. It's not just with that. I actually have it like trademarked.
Nice.
So I started doing like t-shirts. I started doing all this stuff. But then I got the idea of doing a bracelet because I'm so into healing crystals. So I created this bracelet. It's a sparkle bracelet. So it says sparkle on the heart. But then every single crystal is Reiki infused with love, and they're healing crystals. They stand for abundance, togetherness, unity, magic, limitless possibilities. Like this is literally sparkle on my wrist.
Awesome. So I'm really gonna do this. Oh God, I got an echo really bad. I don't know what it is. When I do my third season, I want to get you back on because we can go down a lot more.
Woo, yay!
Well, this is fun, because I'm just saying this in general. Yeah. I don't have to agree with everything you're saying, but it interests me a lot. And you never know. And somebody out there be thinking that same exact thing, but guess what? If they tune in, listen again, it just might change their mind a little bit or think about it.
And you're always at different states, different frequencies throughout your life. So, yeah.
And you're talking about all these different things, but maybe one thing really resonates with somebody, and that can help them. And that's what I talk about. That's why I say gratitude, respect, treat people like humans.
Yes.
Okay. If you take anything out of that, I always tell people, okay, gratitude, respect's awesome, but if you treat people like humans, that's the main thing. Once you start there, the rest of them fall into place. Yeah. And it's kind of like what you're saying, I mean, basically what we're saying is you're saying it at a high level. I'm saying it more at a lower level, but we're at the same thing. It's respect. Well, I look at a low level.
But you can't recognize it in me unless it was in you. Did you know that?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that makes sense.
Anytime you appreciate something in somebody, it's within you. So don't ever put anybody else on a pedestal because it's in you.
Fair enough. That works. I mean, I get that. I use that more if you see my smile on my face. I do that to have fun with people, but people do get mad at me. They're like, you're putting yourself down so much. I go, no, I'm not. That's just my sense of humor. That's how I am. But I get where people say that. I understand, I got to be better at that with me. But I don't like talking about myself.
Your kick-ass journal.
I know, but I don't like talking about myself. I really don't. So
I'm actually, so in addition to everything else, I am co-authoring an international book on wellness called Decoding the Wellness Mantra. It's launching in July. So awesome. I'm really excited. You think about the brilliant minds that are in this book. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for that.
I have a couple good connections that I think you might be tied in with them, connected to them. But Professor Pete, he's a big stress wellness person.
Pete Alexander.
And Tasia, the voiceover actor. Oh, she has a meditation app and she's really into this stuff and everything that she launched. She is awesome. She is absolutely awesome. She's a voiceover speaker. She's won Emmy Awards.
Awesome. I grew up on stage, singer, dancer, actress, model.
So, I mean, she's been in hundreds of video games, voiceovers, commercials, animation. So you probably have heard her. You just don't realize her. Yeah. She was on the podcast and it was a lot of fun. And, we're talking about a lot of that stuff. So very good person. I'll connect you to after the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, she is awesome. So I think what you're going down and her meditation app she's working on and how she helps people give great voices or hashtag.
The Healy with meditation. Like if you have issues getting into a meditative state, the Healy actually has programs for the chakras. So you can run those programs and you're all of a sudden like there and you're just in that state and you can meditate. It is what I love about the Healy is I say like, this is not a tool that's going to like be your answer to everything. It's a wellness tool that assists you, that brings you to your self-healing capability, that brings you to like being at the level you want to be meditating and it keeps you conscious throughout the day. Like I do my Healy while I'm doing laundry. I do my Healy while I'm playing with the kids. I do, it's just,
Very interesting stuff. It is. It's got me intrigued just to look into it and see what you're talking about. You know, it's fun.
I would love to.
Guys, it's linked down in the comments on LinkedIn. Go check it out. Yep, down there. Nicole, add anything into the comments after that so people can check out. We're approaching the hour mark. I want to be able to get this on Instagram.
Really quick,
go ahead.
That the Healy does not prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Yeah. And everything that I've said about the Healy has been my personal experience. So I have been migraine free for 8 months. I have had help with TMJ, with my chronic pain, with IBS, with anxiety attacks, with my heart condition, which is neurocardiosyncope syndrome, like so many things for me.
I love the disclaimer. Joe, the finance guy. I love Joe to death. He always comes on really quick. Awesome. My disclaimer is yes. And I always when I do a live with them.
I was like so excited. I was like, I gotta get that in there.
It's all good. I love Joe. Every time we do a live, I'm like, okay, Joe, do the disclaimer really quick. Okay, you know, awesome. It's like a joke with us because it's funny. I was like, what? But I get it.
Time you should. Oh my gosh, you should so do this. Like one of those big poster boards and have it written down. And like when he's doing it, you should hold it up.
Yeah, I could do that. That's not a problem. So really quick before we get off, because we want to get this on Instagram, so we only got an hour to do that. Where can we find you?
Okay, so my Facebook, or I have a link tree. I'll put the link tree down below. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Frequency Healing with Sparkle and Glow, because that's my amazing twin flame / business partner. We have combined and we're creating amazing things together. So, yep.
Awesome. Well, guys, you can find me up that corner. It's been 50
I know, isn't it annoying? Like I think you're over there, but you're actually like, it's just
up there. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can also find me on YouTube, all the past podcasts. Find us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all those fun things. You'll be on that later today. Blaze Your Own Trail Consulting. Boom. You can find me with them. Mr. Jordan. We work together. So, Nicole, this has been awesome. We could talk for hours more.
Yes.
This has been great. I got a couple people I think would love to have you on their podcast. So I will put that out. So we'll get this going. Nicole, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to just chat and share my story.
Next week, we have Matthew Ziman on the show. And in about 30 minutes, I'm going to be on the No Rain, No Rainbows podcast. So pretty excited for that.
All right, send me the link or let me know about that.
I think we're recording it first.
Okay.
That's Ted Phaeton. He's a Fox broadcaster out of South Carolina. Awesome dude.
Cool.
Awesome dude. Yeah. He was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Just great guy. So everybody, thank you, Nicole. Awesome. I appreciate you today. Just an awesome conversation. And thank you everybody for jumping in today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day, everyone.
Sparkle, spread positivity.